Hello, Radiant One, and a very big and a very warm welcome to Mastery, the show and podcast for brilliant spiritual beings just like you, having a human experience and wanting to lead with love in work, business, and life. Here we merge the worlds of seen and unseen, magic and miracles with the mundane and the practical, spirituality with strategy, the energetic with the physical, and business, work, and life with a whole lot of love and soul. I'm your host, spiritual business coach, energy worker, and radical love rebel, Maria Saraphina. And it is my deep honor, my great pleasure, and joy to share this episode, this podcast, and this world with you. Hello, Radiant One, and a very big and a very warm welcome. In this episode / video, I am going to be diving into a topic that's really been on my heart and my mind for a long time. And part of it is so simple, and it's also something where I see, like, whenever it's also sort of like a pet peeve to me because it's something that is, I would say, very prevalent in the spiritual community. And I think that it's something that when I understood this, I was like, it makes so much sense. So we're going to be diving into affirmations and why your affirmations are not working and what you can do about it. In case we've never met before, my name is Maria Saraphina. I'm a spiritual business coach, energy worker, and radical love rebel. I support established business owners and experienced leaders from across the globe with my unique combination of spiritual business coaching, intuitive wisdom, and energy alignment, energy work. So affirmations. First of all, let's have a moment about what is an affirmation. And an affirmation is essentially a positive statement that you make about something that you desire and want to call into your life. And they can be written down. They can be, added to your phone or on your screens. And it's sort of like a part of quote unquote manifestation. Now I'm gonna probably share a little bit about my thoughts about manifestation a little bit later, because they might not be completely in resonance with the way that you look at it, or it might not be in complete resonance with the way the world's currently viewing manifestation. However, so an affirmation is a positive statement about something that you would like to call in your life. They can also be universal truths. So we have a universal truth is usually something that is global. So the one that comes to mind is for the highest of all. That's something that people can usually agree with. However, I am going to give you an example about that particular statement in just a moment from a client session, which was mind-blowing, both for myself, but also for the client, especially because it literally shook her, I suppose, worldview in terms of universal truths and affirmations. So, and then also, so that's affirmations and that's universal truths. There's also what's called mantras, and this stems from the Eastern philosophies. And I want to make clear that there is a very distinct difference between and this is where why your affirmations might not be working, but there's a distinct difference in a 1,000-year-old mantra that has been repeated by millions of people across the globe, and also because they hold a different frequency and a different vibration. So that's I'm in this case, like what I'm talking about today are the affirmations that you create, not the beautiful practice of mantras, which I absolutely use. So, when it comes to your affirmations or things that you would like to call into your life, we have to look at the underlying energy of things. And energy can be in 3 states. It can be in flow, which is everything is flowing, everything is quote unquote aligned, things are appearing out of the blue, and things are flowing. Then the underlying energy can be one of resisted energy. That's like where you're treading through mud You can get to where you want to, but it's really, really difficult. It's most of a struggle, and you may actually just be about to get there, and then you're like, it feels like 2 steps forward, and then you're pulled back. That's the resistant energy, or a resistant state. And then the final state is what's called the reverse state, or I like to call it the repellent state. Imagine trying to force 2 opposing magnets together, and what will happen is they will literally repel each other, and that can be the underlying energy. Repellent energy or reverse energy usually occurs when there has been a shock to our systems and a shock to our energies, where the energy is sort of frozen. Most people, and I do this as well, have an experience of the repellent or the reversed state as one where you go blank, or things are yet not budging at all. So those are the 3 states of energy. And if you want to know more about this energy, like the method that I use and that I'm going to describe later on in this video and this episode, I have it freely available. There's no download needed. You can go to mariasarafina.com/EA and you'll get the full process outlined completely. So just free, no download, no nothing needed. It's up on my website. No, so those are the 3 states of energy. And the reason why, when you have something that you're wanting to call into your life, and you've made an affirmation, a statement about what you're calling into your life, what you want to make sure is that energy, the underlying energy of that statement, is that you are actually in alignment with it, and that there is no either resistant or reversed energy in it. So like I said, I had a client, more than one, but I had one client where in her activation, in the alignment piece that we were going to do, she wanted to include the statement, if this is for the highest for all. Now, when I work with a client one-on-one, one of the things that we do when we're activating something is that we check whether you are actually in alignment with what you're calling in, what you're wanting to manifest or align to. And when we went through this, she was very surprised to discover, and she was actually horrified to discover, that her energy was not in alignment with what she was calling in being for the highest of all. She had resistance to the statement of being for the highest at all. And I remember her face, because this is something that we usually when it comes to universal truth, is something that we are of course wanting to be as loving, kind, caring, spiritual beings, business owners and leaders. We want what's highest in the highest interest for all. So for her to discover that that's not what her underlying energy was, where it was at, was like, she was horrified. And what was quote unquote so beautiful, because we used what's called the sway. Again, this is explained in the article that I mentioned before, mariasarafina.com/EA. We used what's called the sway muscle testing tool to check into her energy. And what we uncovered was that for her as a child, meaning the phrase for the highest of all, as I think she was the youngest of 3 or 2 siblings, that meant that she always had, she was the last to get something. It meant that she was always the last in line. It meant that she was not really feeling supported or getting her needs met. It meant that whenever, they had to go out and buy clothes, she would get her sister's old clothes, and then her sister would get new clothes. So this, her quote unquote resistance to that statement, we realized was really based in something that had happened to her as a young child. And once we were able to release that, release the underlying feeling, release that experience of, oh, this is correlating for the highest of all, is correlating with me not ever getting anything and everybody else getting all of what they want. We were then able to align her energy to that. And that was just such a beautiful experience and a very profound experience. And so what I would like for you to do, if you have affirmations that you are currently using, or something that you're wanting to call into your life, aka manifesting, use the muscle testing tool called the sway to check whether or not the underlying energy, your energy, is in alignment with it, or whether you have resistant or reversed energy in that area. And if you do, like I said, you can go ahead, freely available, no download needed, and go through the process of releasing whatever the underlying energy is so that you can bring yourself into alignment with it. Now, something that is really important for me to mention here is that as much as you release, as much as you bring yourself into alignment with your essence, that does not mean that you get to step outside of divine timing or divine will. When it comes to manifesting, and this is what I shared in terms of me having sort of a different take on it, I have for a very long time not resonated with the term manifesting, because in the spiritual community, I feel like manifesting has been turned into I can get whatever the fudge I want. And part of being a spiritual being, having a human experience, walking through this life has to do with transmuting all of that which comes at the challenges and the tribulations and the trials. And for me, it also is about landing in a place where you recognize that where does your desire come from? Where does the desire for the things that you want to manifest or bring into life, where do they come from? Do they come from a space of I have enough and I would like to just expand and grow more? Or do they come from a societal, external perception of what success is? When I became an entrepreneur, I walked away from a 6-figure job, a corporate job. I was probably by now I was probably going to be on this C-suite somewhere. I would have been manager, director of something. But I chose to walk away from it because I couldn't feel my heart. And since then, I've had to really wrangle with all of the things that I had been told and we are being told are is what we need in order to be or feel successful. And that's not an easy journey. So when you're doing this, like when you're looking at your affirmations or what you're desiring to call into your life, I am not saying that this is the magic pill and the one key to bind them all. I am saying that it may be that what you're trying to call in is not for your highest good. And if it's not for your highest good, it is never going to work. What you will uncover in my experience is that once you start doing the energetic alignment, once you start releasing and aligning, what you will uncover, what will be presented to you is that which is. And more you will have the reflection of, is this something that I am desiring or wanting based on, family structures or old wounding or patterns or things that I want to call into my life because of that? Or is it truly what is in my highest? Is it truly what would make me feel the most satisfied and content? So that's really what you got to do. And part of that, of course, has to do with surrender. Giving up all of that which you thought you wanted for that what you really need is, at least in my experience, was really, really difficult. And something else that I struggled with when it came to quote unquote manifesting was the gap between where I was at and the gap to where I wanted to go. I was having a really hard time not focusing on the lack rather than the abundance. And so in my experience, energetic alignment is what has supported me in landing in the space of deep satisfaction, where I don't quote unquote have all the things that I would like to have, but the level of satisfaction that I feel, the level of abundance that I feel on an almost daily basis, almost hourly basis, is beyond anything that I could have ever imagined. Something that's really important for me to highlight and emphasize when it comes to manifesting, or when it comes to affirmations and desires and bringing that to life, which you would like to see in your life, is that we also have to recognize and acknowledge that we live in a world of rampant colonization, of capitalism, and where white supremacy and systemic racism is real. So if you are a person of color or black or a brown person who find that you are quote unquote struggling with this, know that that is a real experience. Your lived experience is real, and it is you have quote unquote more things that you're going to be up against, rather than someone with my privilege and just because of my skin color and the place that I was born. So I just want to emphasize that when it comes to manifestation, the notion that you can have everything quote unquote is real, but it's also a very, very easy for a lot of us to say that when it is, or for teachers to say that when they have not had the lived experience of someone with a difference in color and in the systemic, like I said, systemic racism and biases that people of color and black and brown people live with on a daily basis. So I just wanted to emphasize that. So I want to close this out by repeating that the reason why your affirmations are not working is most likely because the energy A is out of alignment, or it has resistant or reversed energy somewhere in that, and there's an exploration for you to happen. There's a journey for you that's potentially opening up for you, because you listening to this now, you have the opportunity to be curious, to be wondering what that's about. And also, secondly, it might be that in that journey, what you discover is that which you thought you wanted really is not what's going to bring you the most pleasure and the deepest satisfaction and the highest sense of success. So repeating again what I've said before, the article and the description that I have available is on mariasarafina.com/EA. It is free. It is open. There is no download needed. And if you have any questions about this, you're more than welcome to drop them in the comments below this video, or on the website where the podcast will be published. So that's what I had to share with you about why your affirmations are not working and what to do about it. And I would love to hear your experience with this. Come back and tell me, once you've begun this process, tell me what happens for you. I am sending you so much love and hope you're having a wonderful day wherever in the world you might be. Lots of love. Bye. That is what I have for you in today's episode of Mastery with Maria Saraphina. I hope it served you well. For all the deeds and details, click the link in the description and help me spread the love of this transmission by sharing it with a friend or on social media, or leave me a comment or review. Have a wonderful day. God bless.